What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Lovecraft Country video review and breakdown. With Snowpiercer and Stargirl sadly over, this is our new weekly show which we will cover every Monday. So what the heck is it and why should you watch it? Well, Lovecraft Country is based on the book of the same name. It is the story of Atticus, a black man who is also obsessed with science fiction as he looks for his father and other stories which blend the racist Jim Crow laws with monsters from the H.P. Lovecraft books. An adored author who has, unfortunately, some racist views. And this is an interesting blend of the real and, well, the absolutely surreal. It's sort of similar to a series of books which includes the Eyre Affair, which is where Jane Eyre's whole kind of books and mythology comes real. So the show is produced by J.J. Abrams and Jordan Peele, which explains the high production values and features Jurnee Smollett and Jonathan Majors, who most recently starred in the superb Da 5 Bloods, which I have a video review on my channel as well. So as always, if you enjoyed the video, please do consider subscribing with notifications on and drop a like if you did enjoy the video. Please also check out the description below to join our growing Discord server to chat all things movie, TV and comics, and some other stuff if you want. The show opens with what looks like newsreel footage, but it is our protagonist Atticus in a war, fighting just as he sees War of the Worlds style aliens, flying saucers, and even Cthulhu. We even see a Spartaman as a pink woman descends from a spaceship. We hear the words of Jackie Robinson, the famous baseball star icon who actually broke boundaries by leaving the Negro League to play Major League Baseball. He really did shatter that division there. And he comes out and smashes Cthulhu only for the legendary monster to reform. Cthulhu obviously being the iconic Lovecraft character. Atticus wakes up on a bus and he's reading The Princess of Mars. Yes, that Princess of Mars that Disney adapted to become, well, a major flop. I actually enjoyed it, to be honest. It's clear that all of this is in Atticus's head, or is it, as the show actually will go on throughout the coming episodes, and it's blending what he's reading and his war experiences. It's a very curious and really high production value introduction, which I really liked. It's here on the bus when he wakes up that we see the segregation in America. When the bus actually breaks down, another ride comes, but he thinks it's safer to actually not get that ride as he decides to walk with the only other passenger who's in the segregated part of the bus. They discuss what he's reading and how John Carter was an ex-Confederate, and the woman says that anyone fighting for slavery is never okay, and you shouldn't be reading a book like that. But Atticus makes a good point that you need to look beyond that when you're reading a story, because stories should always be cherished, and that's something I very much agree with. I'm very anti-censorship, and we must always remember the past. He joined the army to get away from his father, who has actually gone missing, which is the MacGuffin for this entire episode. And as he comes home, that is why he is here. He is trying to find his father. We see the relations of Atticus in bed together as his uncle tries and succeeds to get the coochie, as very awkwardly Atticus's cousin hears the whole thing as she's writing her own comic book. As Atticus meets his uncle to discuss his father, his eye is kind of grabbed by a book called The Outsiders and Others. The Outsider is a real H.P. Lovecraft story, and The Outsider is about a person who's shunned and lonely, and this actually works here as a sort of metaphor for the whole segregation. It's published by Arkham House, which is actually a real publishing firm who kept the spirit of Lovecraft alive long after H.P. died. And they also mention the racism of H.P. Lovecraft, as he wrote an awful novel and story, which I won't name here because I will get demonetized and I can't say that word. And that is very much an interesting part of this because he was a massive racist, and it's the kind of whole hypocrisy. I've seen people say, oh, the left are loving Lovecraft, but he's a racist. But you know what? If you actually watched this or maybe read the book, you'd actually understand. But Atticus presents a letter that is penned in such flowery language, his uncle does not believe that it was written by his brother himself, but it details how his father went looking for his wife's ancestry, and he now actually wants to pursue her whole kind of history and what actually happened. And Atticus wants to pursue his father and see where his mother is actually, or at least mother's family are from. That will form the mystery for the next few episodes. He believes that Arkham is really Lovecraft Country, but it turns out it's actually Ardham, because the joined up writing that his father does isn't really that good. But this is actually some sort of basis in reality. I'm not saying this is real. What I'm saying is that Lovecraft Country is a real kind of collection of where these places or where these stories are set. Much like Stephen King is set around Massachusetts, it's a similar sort of thing. It's kind of Lovecraft Country as it's set around this kind of same area, just as Stephen King's novels are set and kind of inspired by New England. Tick goes to a bar where he thinks his father will actually be, or they'll have some more information on him because his father is sadly an actual drunk. But he meets someone who is getting some in the alley there, as it's revealed that his father actually went off with a rich white guy 2 weeks ago. Considering the times of segregation and rampant racism, this is weird. But later that day, a block party takes place, and we see Letitia arrive, played by Jurnee Smollett. She meets her sister, and it becomes clear that Letitia only comes back for money, or if she can get something out of someone, because she has lofty ambitions for her life. But she sees Atticus all swole-like and instantly gets very whap for him. She can't take her eyes off him. I mean, he is an attractive dude, let's be totally honest here. Now, Atticus and his uncle look at a map of the US covered with symbols of dangerous monsters, and they work out that he is actually somewhere in a place of death near Boston, where they need to go next. He talks to someone on the phone who says that his father went home and he shouldn't actually have. It's a very ominous phone call there. He gets to go on a road trip, and he sees Letitia packing up the car for their road trip as well, as it's revealed that one of her relatives is actually helping to try and find Ardham, so they're going to go to him first. They arrive in the Midwest as we see them getting food, but they have to use the coloured part of the restaurant and experience severe racism, and just as they are completely harassed, they drive off only to reveal an Aunt Jemima billboard, their mascot for a food company that is incredibly racist as it portrays the comely, typical Southern housekeeper, which is used to show the hypocrisy of these racists. They reach a diner that the uncle wants to go to as it's perceived to be a safe place, according to the Green Book. Now, the Green Book was actually a real thing. It was a directory of businesses that were safe for black people and places they can go to, get a drink or go to a nightclub and such. And it turns out that this is actually a bit out of date, as the diner was burnt down and replaced with a whites-only actual whole place. So yeah, they reference the White House here, which references and makes a very interesting allusion to the White House and the president in charge there. We get an exciting car chase as one of the cars is flipped over by a woman in a red hat. This woman is actually Christina Braithwaite. She's the sole daughter of the leader of the cult Sons of Adam, which is actually where they're going to end up. And she is the daughter of Samuel Braithwaite, and the person we see at the end is actually William, Christina's boyfriend, and she's trying to make her way in the world as her father has shunned her. Now, they arrive at Marvin's house and they hear that Devon County is founded by witches and there are dangerous things everywhere, such as monsters. There is even an evil policeman who has a massive complaint file and nothing has been done about it. Look how times have not changed whatsoever. Tick discusses how his father was angry for fighting in a war that, well, for a country that hates him. It's similar to Muhammad Ali for refusing to fight in Vietnam when he got his world title stripped. They leave as we hear Letty arguing with her brother and they sadly come across the scumbag police officer who says they are in a sundown town. And that means that black people can only walk around during the day and they have to leave for fear of being killed at night. He harasses them and makes them leave the town before sunrise, or sundown, sorry, which is in 6 minutes, or they will be shot. But they leave in a very, very tense scene, only to come across a roadblock with other police officers. They are about to be executed just as they hear a shoggoth, which is one of the kind of Lovecraft characters or monsters, which is part of the hierarchies of monsters, including the elder gods from other dimensions. The monster goes to attack them and the police officer, and they get trapped in a cabin, a horror trope from Evil Dead, and more recently, Cabin in the Woods. However, the evil police officer slowly turns into a monster, revealing his true self. There is a lot of subtext here. It's a very powerful episode, and the writing is just another level. It's stunning, just as good as Get Out and just as good as Us, in my opinion. Overcome the Shoggoth and finally escape, as it is really vulnerable to sunlight, very much like a vampire, as the police officer got bitten and turned into one of them, or zombies. I'm not really sure which would be the best kind of parallel there. And they finally get to Arden, which is a creepy commune and is welcomed by William, Christina's boyfriend. So this is a powerful show, which I loved. They did a great job with showing the racism in America of that time and how really nothing has actually changed. It's a real shame, but these kind of shows and this kind of representation really does matter. And the blend of sci-fi and horror work very well, and the acting is top notch, and the production values just look stunning. Get Out and Us really made me admire the cinematography, and it's no different here. Just like Get Out, this feels timeless. Of course, this is down to the runner Misha Green here, and she's done an amazing job on the show-running part of this great piece of art, and I absolutely loved it. And I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it. Next week, the trailer looks bonkers as we explore the mansion and Atticus' birthright. He is actually part of this secret society, as one of his ancestors had a relationship with a slave that was Titus Braithwaite, the founder of the cult. The trailer mainly includes scenes from upcoming episodes, so it's hard to see which will be next week, but we will learn of the birthright, and his father is mentioned, and he is actually going to be in the next episode, and he will be used as a conduit of power. Atticus, that is, will be used as the conduit to a very, very weird ancient power. There are multiple stories in the whole book, so it might be that Lovecraft Country would be the first one, and we get a different type of true detective story kind of thing with other stories in different seasons, or it will be intertwined, but that remains to be seen. But that's it for this video. Let me know what you think down below. Please do hit that subscribe button with notifications on, and please do drop a like if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you soon, and goodbye.